Hello and welcome to Inside Luxury Travel with me, Varun Sharma, in partnership with Hoteliers Global. Each week, we uncover the people and stories shaping the very best in global hospitality. And today, I'm joined by Nuran Kilani, Chief Operating Officer of L'Azur Hospitality and Chief Commercial Officer of Tabuk Investment and Tourism, both based in NEOM in Saudi Arabia. Nuran, it is an honor to have you on this podcast. Please start off by telling me where you are today.
Hello, Varun. Thank you for the invitation. I'm really excited for this one. And let me tell you that currently I'm in Dubai, just spending a couple of days with the family before heading for the new year. So I've just flew back from NEOM, leaving things on the right track till I come back.
Wonderful. So you are in the warmth of Dubai while I am in the cold of England. Great. So nice to know. Before we go into what you're currently doing, how did you get into hospitality? What was your start?
Right. That's a very, very nice and old story, but I would tell. That means I'm not that old, but again, it's in my DNA. I'm considered the second generation of my family who've been to the hospitality. So I've been brought up in this environment since I was really young. My father, he was in one of the biggest international chain in Switzerland for 19 years. Then he decided to move to Egypt, to Cairo specifically, one of the biggest and most famous international hotels in Pyramids area. So again, this is where it all started. I got the vibes. What was in my DNA. I've been taught everything. I mean, naturally. It went with a very natural flow. He didn't push me to do, neither myself or my sister, but this is where it all began. So it's in our DNA.
So hospitality is what you were always going to be doing in your life?
Yes. I tried in between working a little bit in a real estate, but I find that the hospitality is really interesting. It's like you're in armed forces and yet you are growing your network. It got all these nice aspects. It's not a routine kind of job, right? So every day you're meeting new people, you're having new trends, and you're trying to set something. You are building a legacy. So for me, this is a very self-motivating.
And hospitality is all about people, whether they're the guests or the people you work with. And if you're not a people person, hospitality is probably not a good job for you.
I love culture, I love food, and I love learning different languages as well. So I think it was all in hospitality. So hospitality really got it all. It's very exciting. It's very interesting as well. It's not a boring job at all. And you always have a room to grow every day.
And your career has basically been based around the Middle East.
Yes. It was between Egypt, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and some other, like Qatar and some other GCC countries.
So you are the perfect person to see the differences, the analogies between what's been going on in the UAE, in Qatar, and now that's going on in Saudi. We'll talk about Tabuk Investment and L'Azur Hospitality in a nutshell. Explain what they are.
Right. So L'Azur Hospitality considered to be the hospitality division of Tabuk Investment and Tourism. Tabuk Investment and Tourism is one of the local Saudi companies, local Saudi companies with international flavor, I would say this. We have an experience or collective experience of 100 years. This is the working force behind Tabuk Investment and L'Azur Hospitality. As of now, we have our hotels with total capacity of almost 1,100 keys between 4 hotels in NEOM, 3 hotel residences in Al Ola, and very soon, the pipeline, the other 3 hotels in Riyadh, which is due between Q1 2026 and Q4 2026. And one of them is a really huge project which include a touristic and retail commercial project, which is really adding a lot to Riyadh at this point. So again, we are very proud being a local Saudi brand, and this is where we are getting all the support. That's why I'm saying it's a fast-growing company. And I think we are reshaping the local Saudi hospitality as well, in a way that we are merging different kind of concepts all together. And we are not an international chain, I mean by heart, by flavor. So I always think that we are a local brand with international flavor.
Okay. It's interesting. You're in Dubai at the moment.
Yeah, I am.
In Saudi Arabia. Now, Saudi is, it'd be fair to say, a few years behind the rest of the middle, well, places like Dubai and Abu Dhabi and Qatar. Obviously, it has to catch up pretty quickly to get to where Dubai and Abu Dhabi are now. Is it all basically the case of just spending lots of money?
It's not all about the investment, but let me tell you, Saudi Arabia is no longer rising, right? It's ascending. I would say that the kingdom is reshaping the meaning of hospitality. They are doing it their way, right? So they are mixing, and they are trying to do all with the local investment, by the way. So it's all local funds. This is where it really rise. I think they are preparing the world for a new concept to follow, right? So they are relying big time on their nature, they are relying on their culture, and they are relying big time on their local investment as well. So I think this is where the vision become a destination.
And is that what is going to make it different for tourists visiting? I mean, Saudi is the 12th biggest country in the world by land area. So it's vast. But people who think of, obviously, Dubai, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, you know, they're attracted by, you know, the shopping. It's less about, I suppose, culture, less about nature and more about bling. What can Saudi do to bring tourists into the country?
I think Saudi are doing it in a different way, right? So they are trying to build an interest with a mix of different kind of activities, right? I mean, if you would compare tourism in Riyadh, is totally different than what you have in Al Ola, it's totally different than what you have in Asir, right? Being the mountains and whatsoever, it's totally different than what you're having in NEOM as the new futuristic, sustainable city, right? So I think...
I've got to stop you with NEOM. You've mentioned the name NEOM several times.
Yes.
Most people won't know what actually NEOM means.
That's very good one. Okay, so they are considering NEOM is coming from new, right? City. I mean, that's the meaning somehow. So NEOM considered the new futuristic sustainable destination in the Saudi Arabia, right? They have three main projects where they call it the ambition becomes an architecture, the innovation becomes a way. This one, I'm sure you heard about, it's the line. It's one of the revolutionary mirrored vertical city, which again, it's due to be completed by, hopefully by 2030. It might be a little bit delayed due to some uncertainty for some stuff. Then they have the Oxygen, and the Oxygen considered the world's largest floating industrial hub. And sustainable hub as well. Then they have Trojena. Trojena is what considered the year-round mountain destination, where NEOM is rewriting what cities can be as civilizational redesign, right? So again, away from this, they have Amala replacing Sindala at some point. This is where you have all the international top-notch chains. So they are reshaping the Red Sea touristic concept as well at some point.
And so far, how are tourists embracing this new world of hospitality that's coming out of Saudi?
Listen, the people, when they hear the word NEOM, and I would relate more to the European side, because this is where all the propaganda was fought and was focused on, right? So they are so excited to come and see what's going on, right? Starting with the new hotel concept, they have like the Rock, okay, and as well the floating hotel in Amana, right, and Shibara, in Shibara. That was the one of the very, I mean, it's almost busy around the year, although it was opened 2, 3, 4 months 2, 3, 4 months back, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, for official opening. But people are excited to come and explore Saudi Arabia, the new Saudi Arabia. So they still have some, I would say, misconception that they are having the camels eating the desert and this is it. And they are surprised with all these events taking place there, right? Whether it's for Riyadh as a capital, with all these international events and activations for exhibitions at trade fairs. I mean, the last one was to Rise, and I didn't expect the attendance to be that strong in their first edition. And I mean, by then I said that in the coming 2 years, this event will be really booming and will be one of the top events in the Middle East, right? So people have a lot of expectation. They didn't put them down, right? Considering the price point compared to other international destinations, it's there. Plus, it's a very sunny, nice environment, very friendly culture. I would relate to this big time. And as well, it's affordable and it's in the middle of everywhere.
And of course, you've got
easy access.
New airports, new airlines, everything is coming.
And they have now some cruises. Even they have some cruises are coming over to Jeddah, right? Okay. As one of the hubs in over the Gulf. In addition, it's as well connected to Dubai. So people who are considering to have a trip to Dubai now, they are trying a couple of days in Saudi Arabia before heading to Dubai.
Now, I've been to Saudi, and I've visited, for instance, Elephant Rock. Are there other places that people should be visiting when they go to Saudi to really capture the culture and the beautiful surroundings of the kingdom?
I would say yes. I mean, again, the mix of attractions and the mix of different activations or different destinations in Saudi Arabia, it's there, right? Whether you are a foodie person and you love to have a different kind of foods, this kind of food festivals are there, which you can enjoy in Riyadh or Jeddah. If you are into sports, Riyadh is your hub. If you are into islands and nature, you have the Red Sea and Amela. If you are into ice circuits and snowing and whatsoever, you have Trojena. If you are enjoying the Red Sea with diving concept and whatsoever, you have as well NEOM.
Okay, so I don't want to get into the politics of it all, but it'd be fair to say that Saudi runs on oil money, so oil prices fluctuating up and down are going to have quite an impact on what gets built, because as you said, as much inward investment, the investment is local. Are things like sustainability and best practice still at the forefront of what they're trying to achieve in the kingdom?
Actually, I would say yes. I mean, they started by their own investment and their own funds just to show that they are confident in what they are creating, right? And that start opening an opportunity for international investors as well to come over. So again, with changing their regulations and become more inviting to international investors, like what happened in Dubai earlier, right? Dubai, till they considered and show people that they are open to investment. They change the rules and regulation of investment and banking and insurance and whatsoever. They become a business hub. They become an investment hub, international investment hub, one of the strongest among all, right? So I think Saudi Arabia are following the same steps. They are starting creating a proper environment for investment. So earlier, yes, they were relying on starting the project with their local fund, Stroll Public Investment Fund, for instance, the BIF, which is now carrying most of the touristic projects in the kingdom. Then as well, they have the start creating a conversation with international investors, like from US for the last visit of Trump. I think that created a very good impact, and some people start thinking to invest. Yes, I would consider that they might have some delay in some projects, but things are going on the right track still. Yes, they might minimize based on the new studies which it's under reviewing from the government, but I think there's no change of plans.
What is it like to work in Saudi Arabia? I mean, we often get here in the West that, for instance, you being a lady, it is difficult for you to, drive and things like that. How easy is it for everyone to work in Saudi? And indeed, if you're visiting, is it a very welcoming kingdom?
No, it's very welcoming, and it's actually they are creating the right environment for the women to start working and to start having their impact. I think, but I can't really recall which hotel was that. They had the first lady GM in Riyadh, right? And that would show you a very, a very clear how the impact of the opening way of thinking and the way of changing the culture and the way of changing the behavior, the way of changing the misconception which they had before, that they were very conservative against having the women done. Go everywhere, most of the projects, especially for the new generation as well, and new leadership, even in the government, they have the ladies impact there. So women at work, they are encouraging this big time, and it's supported big time by His Highness Mohammed bin Salman. Correct. So again, the direction for all. I mean, the latest one, if I recall it correct, that they are not obliged anymore to wear the veil. They can be conservative, but they don't have to wear the veil anymore. They don't have to wear the abayas. Right? I was really surprised when I was at Tourise. You would see the real impact of the new generation coming, right? All the young ladies, they were there, still wearing their nice, colorful abayas. So it's not anymore the black abayas as before. Now colorful, more nice designs. And they are not feeling intimidated to show off the new culture, the new impact on culture, if I may say.
And how are the local people of Saudi Arabia coping with this? Are they very, very open to what's going on in their country?
They are happy and they are proud, right? Let me give you a clear example of what's happening. Tabuk considered one of the very conservative cities of Saudi Arabia, right? And I would tell you that they are sending their ladies, young ladies and gentlemen to work in NEOM. This is like 2 hours driving. So they are away from their families over the weekdays and they only go over the weekend, right? For me, even being in this Arab environment before, I would never think that they might let their, I will not say kids, their children, a child, they go there and work remotely, right? Work away from them, only seeing them over weekend. Upon asking one of my employees before, so are you considering going to Riyadh? Your family were not feeling intimidated that you are leaving the family? They said no, they know that I'm building my future. So, the concept is there. This is how they are building the new generation as well. That we have a future, we have to build it, we have to leave a legacy.
Coming to the last question then. Do you believe that Saudi Arabia is the future of hospitality?
Again, as I said before, I would consider that Saudi Arabia is no longer rising, it's ascending, right? They are reshaping the meaning of hospitality already. So this is where vision become a destination, ambition become an experience. Because this is how it works. They have the know-how, or they are creating the know-how at some point based on their culture. They are relying on their investment funds, local investment funds. And this show clearly with the BIF interfering in all the current projects of touristic projects all over Saudi Arabia. And they are doing great job because they have a lot in the pipeline. The world is not just watching, they are preparing to follow, right? So this part of, or this part of the world, or this destination, yes, it would have a new concept of hospitality at some point, a new concept of tourism. They are not copying anyone, but they are learning as well from their ancestors.
This has been a wonderful conversation today, learning so much about, well, Saudi Arabia and how things are in the Middle East. Nuran Kilani, Chief Operating Officer of Leisure Hospitality and Chief Commercial Officer of Tabuk Investment and Tourism, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Varun. I really enjoyed it, and it was from the heart to the heart. And I'm always here for any kind of any piece of advice regarding Saudi Arabia or UAE.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.